Somebody has to say it, so let me be crystal clear. Barack Obama is not the president of the United States. He does not have the authority to speak on behalf of our country.
Couldn't be. We couldn't walk around saying valedictorian, straight A student, speaks excellent, has excellent diction if you give them a chance. Mm-hmm. We knew very early on that no one was going to see beyond the color of our skin at an early age. And that could get you in trouble.
Yes, I don't know if you've seen this. Michelle Obama says Trump deportation policies keep her up at night, despite the fact that her husband deported more people than any other president. Remarkable. President Barack Obama deported a whopping 3 million illegal immigrants, demolishing the competition. There is so much bias and so much racism and so much ignorance. I worry for people of color all over this country. I don't know that we will have the advocate to protect everybody, and that frightens me. It keeps me up at night.
Somebody has to say it, so let me be crystal clear. Barack Obama is not the president of the United States. He does not have the authority to speak on behalf of our country, and he does not represent our people. And he definitely does not have the right to hold foreign meetings as if he's sitting in the Oval Office. For 8 long years, we watched him put America last. Then his policies continued destroying America under Biden for another 4 years. Biden, a puppet for everything Obama left behind. And now he thinks he can go globe-trotting, sitting at NATO tables, making promises to foreign nations. Excuse me, sir, no. We have one president at a time, and as of right now, that's President Donald J. Trump. If Obama is not smart enough to try to conduct foreign policy without the authority of the White House, he's not just breaking the law, he is violating the trust of every single American citizen who expect the election to mean something. The Hatch Act is clear, the Constitution is clear. And to Obama and everybody else who's trying to operate a shadow presidency, consider President Donald J. Trump's words your warning. You don't get to speak for us, and you don't get to act like you're in charge. America is taking its voice back. We don't need you. We don't need your failed policies or your backdoor diplomacy. Sit down, stay out, and remember, you had your shot, and you didn't do a good job.
Yes, that is just to show you the minds of people toward Obama. Michelle sat down in an interview. I don't know. She is entering into politics gradually. I reported a video last week where she put out saying, "This is a reason I did not attend Trump inauguration." We saw that. This is what Michelle had to say.
Couldn't be. We couldn't walk around saying valedictorian, straight A student, speaks excellent, has excellent diction if you give them a chance. Mm-hmm. We knew very early on that no one was going to see beyond the color of our skin at an early age. And that could get you in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about that fear, I'm sure that fear has been tested across your life in so many different places. And I wonder, what would you say has been the most hardest recent test of that fear? Because it's not one of those fears that you kind of get over and it just goes away. It kind of shows its head in many different ways, I imagine.
Well, in this current climate for me, it's, what's happening to immigrants. So it's not the fear for myself anymore. I drive around in a 4-car motorcade with a police escort. I'm Michelle Obama. I do still worry about my daughters in the world, even though they are somewhat recognizable. So my fears are for what I know is happening out there in streets all over the city. And now that we have leadership that is sort of indiscriminately determining who belongs and who doesn't, and we know that those decisions aren't being made with courts and with due process, and, that it's being made like this cop that pulled my brother over when he was 12. You don't look like somebody that belongs. I can determine just by looking at you that you're a good person or you're not a good person. And knowing that there's so much bias and so much racism and so much ignorance that fuels those kind of choices, I worry for people of color all over this country. And I don't know that we will have the advocates to protect everybody. And that frightens me. It keeps me up at night. And I know that I see that when I'm driving around LA, I'm just looking in the faces of folks who could be victim. And I'm wondering, how are you feeling? How do you feel standing on the bus stop? How do you feel comfortable going to work, going to school, when you know that there could be people out here judging you and who could upend your life in a second? That's who I worry for right now.
I don't know if I can say this is double standard or hypocrisy or what exactly. Michelle knows fully well that Barack Obama broke the record, like deporting about, I think, 3 million people. No president has ever done that. Michelle Obama did not see that as a problem because it is Trump. Michelle Obama is unable to sleep at night. And she is really worried about the people of color. You can see. Sometimes when I watch this lady, last week I reported a lot of videos concerning her, Megyn Kelly, reacting to what she said.
Donald Trump's first 100 days in office are coming up, and now the liberal news stations have already started their smear campaign, saying Donald Trump got the lowest approval rating ever. This is the lowest approval rating for a president in a second term. Straight nonsense. They got to make up stuff about Trump because he got in and got straight to business. We had an issue with the southern border for the longest. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, they gaslit us for 4 years straight and said that we were having no issues at the southern border, that it wasn't a record number of illegal immigrants invading our nation, that it wasn't illegal immigrants, unalive and innocent American citizens, that it wasn't illegal immigrants, immigrant communities. Y'all said that wasn't happening. Donald Trump get in office and address that immediately. Not because of Trump and Tom Homan. It's a record low of illegal border crossings at the southern border. Some of these immigration shelters in these sanctuary cities, they have to close down because of a lack of applicants. That's because of Donald J. Trump. That's what we call the Trump effect. What else? The tariffs. It's not our fault that y'all don't understand the tariffs. Y'all walking around here complaining, oh, Donald Trump's about to ruin the world with these tariffs. It's not our fault that you don't understand Trump's agenda. It's not our fault that you don't understand that Barack Obama implemented tariffs on China and it didn't work. It didn't get us a better trade deal. Joe Biden got in office, tried the same thing, still didn't work. But then when Trump get in office and apply blanket tariffs, all of a sudden China want to try to come to the table. Now you're seeing them starting to remove stuff from their tariffs. This is what you call getting a fair deal. This is all because of Donald Trump. He shook it up. He took it to the next level. Obama couldn't get it done. Biden couldn't get it done, but guess who is getting it done? That'd be Donald Trump. So like I said, it ain't my fault that y'all don't understand tariffs. Y'all want to keep telling me these lies like gas went up? That's a bold-faced lie. Gas is not going up. I'm paying $3.60 for 93 gas, so y'all can tell that lie to somebody else. I'm not trying to hear it. Then y'all told us, oh, what about the jobs? Who's going to pick the fruit? Who's going to cut the grass and all this other nonsense? Well, how about this? According to the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, 151,000 jobs came back to the United States in February. 228,000 jobs came back to the United States in March. That's 379,000 jobs. And y'all got the nerve to complain about what Donald Trump is doing? Said he wasn't creating any jobs? Straight up nonsense. What about these HBCUs? Y'all said Trump is a YT supremacist. Well, how about he signed the executive order calling out the states, saying the states have not been holding up their responsibility when it comes to funding these HBCUs. He already got permanent funding for the HBCUs, and this is what a YT supremacist did. He's calling out the states that they need to do a better job with these HBCUs, and he's created different departments within the White House to address this. Y'all should go read that executive order. A lot of HBCUs thank Trump for that. What about the executive order he signed about school safety? He brought a woman up from Charlotte. She was attacked in the school, and now they bring her back paddling in some of these schools. This is what Donald Trump has done. What about the fact that Trump has brought factories back to the United States? Talk about Kia, talk about Apple. These are things that Donald Trump is doing. What about the deals he has secured? $1.4 trillion from the UAE invested into our AI infrastructure. I'm just confused on what they mean the approval rating is low. To me, it just sounds like Donald Trump is getting the job done, and they hate the fact that the other side is getting the job done. So what is the real issue?
He is able to outline just what Trump has done. First 100 days, though people like this are still struggling to criticize that. Jon Stewart had a segment. He said some ridiculous things about first 100 days. I look at it, I had to laugh all through. Now looking at this lady, Megyn Kelly, for a very long time, she is a good critic of Michelle Obama.
But yes, tomorrow is officially the 100th day of Donald Trump's first term. And you will be very pleased to hear it is going incredibly well. Suck it, Lincoln. Suck it, Roosevelt squared. Trump's first 100 days, the most successful in American history. It would be like if America landed on the moon.
And the thing about Michelle Obama is she's always negative. Everything she says has got a negative spin on it. She's negative about the country. She's negative about her time as first lady. She's very negative about her husband. I fully believe that they have a bad marriage. She did not marry the right person. It's not a good match.
Also easily labeled as angry and bitter. And let me tell you some of the most hurtful stuff that I experienced, entering this life of public service at the heights that we entered into was during my husband's presidential campaign. Mm-hmm. And just me telling the truth of who we were, just humanizing him as a man, saying he's a great man, but he's not perfect. Mm-hmm. He's got his foibles and his flaws, trying to humanize him. The first thing that some female journalist said was that I was bitter. I was emasculating him just by sort of trying to tell the truth about what life is, right? And then you get labeled as angry, because you talk forcefully or passionately about something, even if it's in the context of great joy and pride, that the first label they put on us as Black women.
Okay, so first of all, the fact that this woman, with all of her riches and celebrity trappings, friends, and this time around, no one listened to them. They're as irrelevant as J-Lo.
False rumors since they've been in the public eye.
Her fuel on the fire that there's a potential, maybe a divorce.
As women, I think we struggle with disappointing people.
Yeah.
The 26-year-old, she's an empty nesting. She's thinking about Michelle Obama right now.
There are some people who usually complain, oh, I don't understand you. Please get used to the way I speak. If you meet me on the street, this is how I speak. Nothing will change. But I'm struggling to improve on my English language because that is not actually my first language.
Don't think that, honestly, policy is what we need to be fighting.
Member of Congress right now?
Even Michelle Obama.
What if he says self-defense?
There's no self-defense because if you are afraid the day before, well, you have to take...
Compare the two. You have to compare who was the initial aggressor. Was it
followers for anything? And then the
Registration Act is...
Thank you guys for sharing out my videos. God bless you abundantly.
We start talking about this man, Kilmer.
All right, Saquon is getting...